the pain like.
Hey guys, dearyoongi here and welcome back to my channel. I recently saw a tweet where somebody said they felt as though K-pop was finally fun again. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing this in sort of a debate style format, looking at the reasons why yes, some K-pop fans might think it's becoming fun again or no, it's not, and if not, then why not? So without further ado, let's first start by just briefly explaining what exactly this person means in this tweet, particularly the phrasing of calling K-pop fun again, because I understand why this might be confusing. We'll only look at this briefly because I don't want to explain how K-pop is becoming more fun. That's for our debate. So by saying that K-pop is finally fun again, this is basically implying that K-pop was previously becoming unenjoyable for them. We of course don't know the reasons they feel this, but I'm sure a lot of people have had periods where they felt as though K-pop releases may have become more dull, or standing groups was becoming more stressful, or maybe less groups were debuting that you were interested in, sort of thing. Whereas now, some people feel as though there might have been a shift in this, and the vibe in K-pop is feeling a little different at the moment, in a good way. I know this might sound self-explanatory, but some people may genuinely have not even considered this before or even thought about it. For we now can move on and look at the for and against arguments. So, first of all, we are going to look at the reasons why K-pop may appear to be getting more fun. The first reason some people might feel as though K-pop is fun again is due to the quality of music that has been released recently, with more likable tracks and even unexpected releases or collaborations. As with any music genre, it is only natural that K-pop fans may feel as though sometimes K-pop sort of goes through an era where music just isn't up to the same standards that we're used to seeing or want to see. I must admit, during my time as a K-pop fan, there have been many times where I have felt myself only listening to older songs because there isn't necessarily any new releases or anything happening currently that I found myself enjoying or gravitating towards. However, I will say, and this is the reason I wanted to start with this point, I myself have also noticed that recently I have been enjoying a lot of newer releases from K-pop artists. I really don't know if this is just because the releases out there have been more my style and it's nothing to do with the quality of music itself, but regardless, I have found myself wanting to come back and listen to some newer releases a lot more nowadays than I have previously. I think a lot of K-pop releases recently have been quite fun in themselves, and that in turn might be what's giving us the illusion that the K-pop itself is more fun, if that makes sense. So a lot of recent releases have been rather catchy, so that immediately makes you want to listen to something again. Concepts have been interesting or clearly actualized, so that makes something feel more intriguing or like something you can get behind because it's clear what they were going for. And then of course you do have unexpected collaborations like we mentioned. I wanted to include this one to specifically talk about Blackpink's Rosé and her recent song with Bruno. None of us were expecting this at all, and it seemingly came out of nowhere, but it's been charting really well and been positively received. At the end of the day, all the fandom dramas and standing aside, K-pop at its core should be about the music. So things like this make us feel as though K-pop has been more fun because we've been enjoying K-pop recently for its actual purpose, a source of music. Okay, moving on, another reason why people might be finding K-pop more enjoyable at the moment is because we're entering a new generation. I've spoken about the 5th generation a few times on my channel now, and I found it really interesting to watch my own perspective go from, nope, we're not there yet, I'm not ready, to accepting that we have now pretty much entered a new generation. It's here whether naysayers like it or not. But while a lot of people weren't quite ready to say goodbye to 4th gen and earlier, there are a lot of positives that can come from entering a new generation of K-pop. A new generation could mark the beginning of so many exciting things, such as new groups debuting that may be full of idols we've never heard of but will fall in love with. A new generation could also potentially come with new and exciting concepts that we've never seen before, becoming more in trend, and that itself is so interesting because we have no idea as of yet what this generation will be known for. Will it be crazy choreographies, impressive vocals, styling? Who knows? But I always try to remind myself in my brain the idea of, what if my absolute favourite song of all time hasn't been released yet? Isn't that so exciting to think about when you can wait and see? But aside from all the excitement that could come with a new generation we know nothing about yet, with the introduction of a new generation, this could also benefit previous generations such as the 4th gen. Even though some fans may fear a new generation could mean older artists getting left behind or lost in the mix, this isn't necessarily the case. The fact that we're moving into a new generation kind of takes the pressure off the previous generation generation who no longer feel like all eyes are on them as K-pop's newest offerings to make sure they have the ability to draw in enough new fans to keep the K-pop industry growing. Now that they've had a few years to establish themselves, they can feel more settled and comfortable in who they are as artists and where they want to go while taking their fans along for the ride, without feeling the same amount of pressure. Don't get me wrong, there'll still be a lot of pressures on them, but at least not the same ones that rookie idols will face. And thirdly, another reason why some fans may feel as though K-pop is becoming fun again is because of the air of inclusivity and global appeal, making K-pop feel as though it's become more palatable. That felt like a long way to just say globalization, but hear me out. So when a lot of us older fans got into K-pop, it kind of felt like this weird or more taboo interest that was so far removed from what people know or understood. However, as the years have gone on and as many of us are aware, K-pop's pull and appeal around the rest of the world has caused the genre to grow far beyond any of us could have ever imagined, and every year there's an increase in more global K-pop fans than seen previously. To acknowledge this, it appears that a lot of labels have tried to increase the number of songs they release in different languages, and some labels more recently have started to debut global groups in a K-pop style/format, promoting on music shows in Korea but with mostly foreign members from places that aren't Korea. With these things in mind, these can lead to an increase in K-pop's global appeal even further in a nice little cycle, and this can also kind of make K-pop feel more fun for international fans because it's more understandable for them. Because if you think about it, us overseas fans are so used to watching K-pop variety shows and streaming music in another language with subtitles. Suddenly seeing groups like Katseye on Weekly Idol speaking English, and big well-known artists like Jennie and Riize from Blackpink releasing English music being played on English music channels and radio stations feels a lot more palatable and accessible than maybe previous K-pop has. And something about seeing artists sing in English or idols debut who are from a similar place to you makes it feel almost more relatable and gives off this air of inclusivity that we talk about. And global fans might find that sort of thing more fun for them to consume. Okay, so now I've looked at a few reasons why some people might feel as though K-pop is becoming fun or more fun. Let's now look at the complete flip side of this and some of the reasons why people may disagree. First, and probably one of the biggest reasons we might not feel like K-pop is fun again is because nothing has really changed or improved. In fact, some may argue things only get worse. I don't need to sit here and lecture you guys on some of the harsh realities of life for K-pop idols and the malpractices, because we are more than aware as K-pop fans that life is not easy for idols. They are held to incredibly high standards that are near impossible to maintain, and the level of scrutiny they face to be perfect all the time just isn't natural. But nothing about this has changed recently, and K-pop currently is, as it always has been, holding idols to unreachable standards, etc, etc. So I do understand why some fans may feel as though K-pop is not becoming fun again. They're still stressed for their faves, seeing them struggle to meet high expectations placed upon them. They themselves are still getting involved in fan wars online, trying to defend their faves from online hate. So K-pop is still as stressful as ever for them. And the word fun doesn't really come into it. Just recently, my past few videos have explored things such as the way in which Seunghan was forced to leave riize just after his return because some fans weren't happy about his rejoining of the group. Anti-fans were sending funeral wreaths to the SM Entertainment building, demanding his removal from the group, which they complied with, and a lot of overseas fans were obviously unhappy with. I think 300,000 people now have signed a petition to get him added back to the group. Another recent video of mine looked at how fans turned on TXT's Yeonjun and were sending him mounds of hate just because they didn't like his solo gum. So based on these sorts of incidents, some fans could argue that things might even be getting worse in the K-pop world rather than more fun and enjoyable. We'd like to hope in this day and age, with K-pop growing the way it has, that some of these harsher practices would be stamped out, but unfortunately this just isn't the case. On a different and perhaps more positive outlook, another reason why some fans might not feel as though K-pop has become fun again is because K-pop has never stopped being fun for them. Oh, isn't this one nice? I like this one. Like we briefly touched upon earlier, it is only natural that the K-pop industry goes through cycles, and there might be times where everything in K-pop at the moment is right up your alley, or on the contrary, there could be some occasions where it feels as though every release is one you'd rather skip. It is important for us to remember that music is so subjective, and somebody's opinion on a song or even K-pop as a whole may differ to yours, but that is absolutely fine because they're just opinions and they can be super diverse. So for some people, they might not have had any issues with K-pop's music maybe not being their style, and maybe they could be just choosing to avoid the more complicated sides of K-pop standing, such as the moral conflicts of witnessing how poorly idols get treated. Therefore, for these people, K-pop has just simply always been a bit of fun for them, not too serious. So you can't say it's finally fun again, because they made the conscious decision to find the fun in K-pop and enjoy it themselves. At the end of the day, K-pop is supposed to be fun for us as listeners. I know sometimes it may feel as though there is so much drama happening, but for most of us, it's just an interest and a hobby. We shouldn't be miserable all the time when literally just discussing a music genre. That's crazy. We should be enjoying it and finding fun within liking it. And thirdly, one more reason why some fans might not feel as though K-pop has gotten fun again for them as of yet is because K-pop is simply no longer what it used to be for them. So in the positive reasons why some people might be finding K-pop fun again, in there we mentioned this is because of how K-pop seems to have grown and molded itself as it has developed a wider Western audience. But this might not have always been the blessing or win that it appears to be. And the fact that this is happening could be a major turn-off for some people, and the reason why people might not find K-pop as enjoyable nowadays as they used to. K-pop used to be renowned for its fun and unique quirks that made K-pop different from other genres. And even though we joke about how cringy these used to be, such as the music videos and the styling and the lyrics, these very quirks are what drew a lot of us fans into the genre in the first place. One of the first K-pop songs I listened to was Wolf by EXO, and I defended that song to the very end of the earth. While K-pop has grown globally, I do think that I have seen some subtle changes in the way the industry perhaps presents itself to non-fans over the years. And in turn, this for sure has changed the way some aspects of K-pop are. It's only natural for it to do so. So for some fans, it may feel as though K-pop has lost some of its unique qualities that made it so special for them, and therefore in turn K-pop is sort of losing its authenticity. Of course, this again is just an opinion, but it is hard to let go of something you know and love and accept that it might not be as prominent anymore, especially if you have been into K-pop for a long time and you were there during those days where people would look at K-pop from afar like it was completely alien and so far removed from anything considered quote-unquote the norm. Okay, so usually when I do a debate style video, I like to wrap things up with my thoughts and where I sit in this debate for our conclusion. On this one, I kind of agree with some parts of both sides of the argument, but not all, if that makes sense. So for me personally, I do definitely agree that there may be times in which I'm not enjoying current K-pop releases and offerings as much as I would like to be, but at the same time, I try not to let that affect me in any way and ruin my experience as a K-pop fan, to the point where I find myself sitting around and waiting for things to get fun again. I'm one of those people who is choosing to see the fun in K-pop regardless of if I'm a big fan of current releases or not, because I do enjoy the genre as a whole and I want to continue to do so. So if there's not really any newer releases that I'm vibing with, then that's fine. That's not an issue because there are still all those older songs that I still like, you know? Then I still continue to check out new K-pop releases as they come along, with the optimism that I'm sure I'll eventually come across something that I like, and within no time, I always do. The K-pop industry moves so fast nowadays, with the groups releasing music so often, that I'm bound to find something I like eventually. Maybe I would be looking at this a little bit different if in months and months and months going by, I couldn't find any releases that I like by any K-pop artist, in which case, of course, that is when you as a listener would need to perhaps reevaluate and consider moving on or looking into other genres because this just isn't your vibe. Again, music is subjective, so that is 100% okay, and your decision to do so if you feel like that would work for you. But as for this argument, I like the idea that some K-pop fans are finding that K-pop has become more fun for them at the moment. It shows that the industry is continuing to challenge itself and is not afraid to keep growing and adapting. And to be involved with a genre that is constantly reinventing itself or has new things to offer, that is very fun and exciting for us as the consumer. Okay guys, and that is it for today's video. When I sat down to start this video, I really thought this would be a short video, like barely even scraping 10 minutes long, but I severely underestimate my ability to just yap and yap. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear your thoughts and where you stand on this topic in the comments. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be the first to hear whenever I upload, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!